It's not about whether or not Mark is right or I'm right about what has been a violation, what is too much. All of those shows of proof are going to still have to be made, okay? That's going to happen later. Let's get back to the state of play. Professor, I want you to weigh in on what Mark has been saying, but then I want to pivot to something else. So give me a quick button, and I want to ask you the next question.
Israel has inflicted fewer civilian casualties on Palestinians in Gaza than in any comparable war in modern history. Compare it to the United States. In Afghanistan, the United States and Iraq, hundreds of thousands of casualties. Israel has used surgical efforts to try to get at their hostages and try to get at Hamas, particularly when hospitals are concerned. As far as the Red Cross is concerned, they haven't even made serious efforts to try to see the hostages. The International Red Cross was on the side of the Nazis in the Second World War. They're on the side of Hamas in this war. Do not ever contribute a penny to the International Red Cross. They are not an international objective organization. They are rife with anti-Semitism.
All right, just for a comparison point, by the way, there are 43 million people in Iraq, and there are 2.2 million people in Gaza. So to say that there are a lot more casualties in Iraq or Afghanistan is I won't say dishonest, but a little misleading to our audience.
You have an incredible You have an incredible concentration of humanity in Gaza. You have all these people squeezed into this place and an inability to get south, which hopefully will change. Look, everybody believes it doesn't matter what the international standard is, Alan. It's scaring people. It's scaring people about worse. Obviously, the international standard matters, but I'm just saying it is creating sentiment. Now, that takes me to my next point, okay? The West Bank is becoming a talking point of what the next front in this war is. Alan, I'll start with you. There is no October 7th. There's no October 7th to justify a new wave of self-defense in the West Bank. And it does seem from recent reports that there is an increase among the settlers in what's seen as a disputed area, going into disrupting and creating violence among the Palestinians. You heard what Biden said. I don't know what those words mean, that he may not let Israelis who do that in the West Bank come into America. I don't know how that would work. But it's sending a message that it is too much. Do you think that's the next front?
I agree. That's a good message. By the way, a recent polls show an even larger percentage of people in the West Bank supported Hamas atrocities of October 7th. That's going to be very, very difficult because there's so much support for Hamas. That's why they'll never have a democracy in the West Bank or in Gaza, because if you let them vote, they'll vote for Hamas, and then Hamas will destroy democracy. I favor the two-state solution. I am not a supporter of these settlers. I think the Israeli government should prosecute to the hilt every single settler who's done anything in terms of anything unlawful. The United States should keep them out. I think that Israel should make every effort to keep the West Bank as calm as possible. But these polls about how supportive the West Bank was, more supportive, the West Bank, of the October 7th than Gaza. Why? Because the people of Gaza know that Hamas hurts them enormously when they attack on October 7th, whereas the people of the West Bank don't. So there's a large proportion of people supporting the atrocities on the West Bank. That's going to make it difficult to have a two-state solution, which I have supported since 1970.
Mark, I got to go. But are you afraid, the way I am, that that's where we're going to be next? That this is just going to move right into that area?
I'll respect the time, but I'm going to say that almost every point Alan just made was unfactual. So just to stipulate for the record, I am afraid that the colonial logic that Palestinians aren't able to vote or won't make good voting choices, which is a paternalistic argument, will undermine the attempt at a two-state solution. Oslo undermined a two-state solution by turning the West Bank into over 200 Bantustans. Every single thing that has happened since 1993 has undermined it. Israel has effectively cut a pie in half and then eaten every slice of it, and then said, how are we going to divide this pie? There's nothing left for a two-state solution. The only thing left is one secular democracy, one person, one vote, freedom, justice, and equality for everybody. This idea that anything else will work, and we don't need an October 7th. There's been an October 7th all the time in Palestine, not the exact raw aggregate numbers, but when you look at the pogroms in places like Jenin, when you look at the gross home evacuations, when you look at all the violations of international law, like the Fourth Geneva Convention, when you see settlements expanding, the one thing Alan and I agree on the settlement expansion is all of these things are undermining the possibility of a resolution.
All right,
So,
let's continue. Let's continue the conversation, and we will. I got to tell you something. The audience respects this, and I got to get you guys in person because it does seem like I'm cutting your mics all the time. And that is not my intention. It's just the way the technology works. I respect you both tremendously, and I need the conversation. We got to get to a better place. Doesn't matter if we disagree. It's about how we disagree. Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.